Hey YouTube! So it's been so. No, it hasn't been that long, but it's been a minute, like always, like I always say. And as you can see, I have my little bundle of joy with me. She is being very fussy right now, like she can't lay down. She'll lay down and she'll start crying. So I was like, you know what? Come on, let's make this YouTube video, girl. Like, let's go, because it's way overdue. So I wanted to come do my labor and delivery story, share my experience and everything that happened. I was going to actually do a labor and delivery vlog, but I am actually editing that, so that will actually go up after the delivery story. So if it's a little bit backwards, I apologize, but I was like, let me actually just do the labor and delivery story first, and then I'll do the vlog, because I did get to record. I didn't get to record the whole thing because first of all, I was in pain and I was not like focused on YouTube or recording. I was focused on get this baby out of me, get that epidural on my back, and let's get to pushing, okay? Um, so my focus was not, I'm sorry guys, I had to put y'all on back burner, but my focus was not recording at all. But I did tell my mom when she does come out, I do want you to record. So my mom did get she did get to record that, and I'm gonna get to all that good stuff later. So let's begin. So I did not get to post my like 38 39 week update because, well, I did have a vlog to post. I did actually try to post it, but for some reason it was acting up, so I just never posted it. And when everything happened, I was like, I'm definitely not going to post it now because I can just go ahead and do a labor and delivery story and kind of just do the update from there instead of, you know, trying to put a video out that is showing me 38 weeks pregnant. But I was like, no, that wouldn't make no sense. So basically, it was definitely an experience. That's all you can say for it. You really can't say too much about it. It was definitely something you can never forget and you will always remember. But the one thing you can always say is the whole journey was an experience. So basically, I was due July 15th and she came out July 14th. So she was on it. She was on it. Like, I was really trying to get her out. Like, when I actually turned 9 months, I was like 37 weeks. I was drinking castor oil. Like, I was really trying to get her out. And it was like a week, not even a week, like almost a week and a half, almost 2 weeks to my due date. And I was so focused on getting her out of me. And it wasn't even like my due date. I still had a good like week and a half. So she was actually on it. She was ready. She was like, Mom, calm down. I'm gonna come out. Just wait. So basically, before I went into labor, I was doing a lot of walking because people were like, you need to walk. You need to make sure you continue to walk because walking will help and it will, you know, get labor basically started. So I was walking like every evening after I got home from work, and I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, you are going to get out of me whether you like it or not. And me trying castor oil, that did not help whatsoever. I tried it twice. First time I tried it, I took like 2 teaspoons of it and it didn't do anything. I just was in the bathroom. And then the second time I did like, I think 4. I was really trying to get her out of me. Like, I was not playing. I did 4 and that had me like having stomach aches, cramping, and it was like I was having contractions, but it was nothing to the point where I I went into the hospital. Like, I knew it wasn't, you know, it was just Jakiri did castor oil, and that was the result of it. And so I was in the bathroom again. It didn't help none. Like, when I tell you that castor oil didn't help, and I don't believe, I mean, maybe it does help for people, but I really don't feel like it really works. Like, if it's just that time for you to have the baby and you know, take it, I don't believe the castor oil made it happen. It was just time for you to go into labor, like, honestly. So anyways, I was, like I said, was doing a lot of walking, and the day that, well, it actually was the night of July 13th, which was a Wednesday. I went into the hospital around like 10 that night. I was having contractions all day, and it was painful, but I couldn't handle it. It was to the point where it was painful. It was painful more than any other contractions I've had. And I had went to the hospital like maybe 2 times prior, because I was like, oh, I'm contracting, it hurts. And it was basically false alarms. Like, it wasn't me going into labor whatsoever. And so this time around, the contractions were just so much stronger, but I was able to handle them. It got to the point where it was like, okay, I gotta pause for a second. And that's how I knew it was getting, you know, serious, because all the other false alarms I had, I'd be laughing like, even though it was hurting, but it was something where I was like, you know, it was fine. But this time around, like I said, it was just the point where it made me stop. Like, I had to stop for a second, and I couldn't, you know, say too much. So it was something I could handle, like I said. So going into the evening, you know, going into night, like I said, I went into the hospital at 10, and those contractions were horrible. Like, I knew it was time, because when those contractions came, and they were I was timing them also, and they were every like 3 to maybe 4 minutes, and then it got to like 5 minutes, and it'll jump back to like every 2 minutes. And it was just so painful, and I was just crying, and I was in pain. Like, when they tell you, oh, it's kind of like I can't even talk, period cramping, no. Like, I don't want to over exaggerate, but this is the honest truth. Like, it was 10 times more painful, because I don't cry when I have period crampings. Like, okay, we take some Midol and we move on, you know what I'm saying? But this here, oh my gosh, it was the worst. So I couldn't even lay on my bed. I had to literally put the pillow on the floor and kneel down and kind of just rock side to side. It was that bad. That was like the most comfortable position for me. And so my mom had got home from work like later that night, and like I said, it was around like 10, and she was like, okay, you know, we're gonna go to the hospital. Let me just jump in the shower really quick, because I had already took a shower. I was like, well, let me go home, take a shower just in case. Let me just be ready. So got in the shower, got out. My mom's like, okay, come on, let's go, let's take you to the hospital. So we drove to the hospital. On the way to the hospital, that's when I started crying, because they were just getting so much more painful. Now remember, this is still Wednesday, July 13th. Like, I don't want you guys to think that I'm jumping a day. Like, this is all in the same day. So anyways, like I said, we got in the car, went to the hospital. I'm crying, and my mom's like, stop crying, you know. And my mom's like, please stop, because she was gonna start crying herself. She just saw how much pain I was in, and she was just like, oh my gosh, like, please stop crying. And she was just rubbing my back, and my mom was, she's just the most awesomest person, the most awesomest. And I know that's not a word, but I'm making it one, okay? Awesomest person. And so we got to the hospital. They took me because it was late at night, and of course the hospital is not open, so I had to go to the emergency room. And they took me into the OB triage, which is the labor and delivery, but they put me in one of the little small rooms because they just wanted to monitor me for a second. And like I said, they put me on the monitor, they had her going, and they had me going to show my contractions. And it was like back to back, back to back, back to back. And I'm just there like, oh, like this pain. Oh my gosh, it sucks. It hurts. And I wasn't like, crying, but you could just see the tear come down my it was just coming down. But I honestly took it like a G, to be honest. Like, when I was watching a lot of labor and delivery stories on YouTube, like different people, the ladies, oh my God, just yelling and yelling. And I was like, I hope I'm not like that. But I honestly, I can't talk. I honestly can say I took it like a G. I was crying, obviously, because it was painful, but I wasn't to the extent to where it was, oh my gosh, I'm about to lose my mind, and it, like I said, it was painful. And I'm going to keep saying that because it really was. Anyways, so they put me, like I said, on the monitor, put her on the monitor. They were checking contractions, her heartbeat. She was fine. She was going. And I was just crying. So we were in the hospital, like I said, we got there at 10 and we left maybe at like 5 in the morning. So they ended up giving me some kind of sleeping medicine. I don't remember what the medicine was called. They were like, well, this is going to help you with your contractions, and it's going to let you go to sleep, because I could not sleep. I was just up because the contractions were just so painful. So they were like, well, first they were trying to send me home a little earlier, like 3 a.m. And I was like, no, like, let's wait, because this time it's serious. Like, I can't tell you how much serious it was, because this time it was so painful. Like, I was crying. That's how I knew it was time. So I was like, no, I want to stay a little bit. So I was like, okay, we're going to give you a little bit of medicine. And like I said, it was, I don't remember what it was called, but it helped me. Well, it was supposed to help me go to sleep. And when I do this, you know why? Because it didn't help whatsoever. So they were like, well, it usually takes about a good 30 minutes to an hour for it to really kick in. So at that point, it was, going on 5 o'clock, and they were like, okay, you can go home, because, your water hasn't broke, of course, but yes, you are contracting and it's back to back, but we really can't do too much about it. And I was like, you know what? Okay. So they took me home. I'm still contracting. The medicine is really not even helping whatsoever, because it was like, okay, it should take 30 minutes. All right. 30 minutes passed. Nothing happened. So we got home, and my mom, she was actually getting ready for work, and I was in the room still, could not sleep. I was not sleeping. Like, I was up, like, crying. Like, it was hurting. And so after, maybe after like an hour or so, maybe around 6, I had went to sleep. And of course, like I said, the contractions were still there, but it had calmed down to the point where I could actually get some rest. So 6:40 a.m. came around. Okay, 6:40 a.m. And this is now July 14th. Okay, if you're catching along, you know what day I'm on. Okay, 6:40 a.m. my water broke, and when I tell you, that feeling is something you can also not describe. And I'm getting serious. You see this face right now? I'm not smiling. That is something you cannot describe as well. Okay, I was in bed again. Like I said, I was laying down, and I was asleep. And when I tell you that pop was the most weirdest thing ever. It popped, like literally like a balloon pop, but not like the sound, of course, but like a balloon pop. That's how it felt. I'm just gonna do like a metaphor to that. That pop was the most weirdest feeling ever, when I tell you. So my water had broke at 6:40 a.m. and that's when I knew this is real. Like, I'm having a baby today. You understand? So my water had broke and all I could feel was water just coming down. And I'm yelling for my mom. I'm in so much pain and I'm crying at the same time, like, Mom, 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 you know, trying to yell out and call her. And come to find out, my mom had already left for work. Like, I didn't even know she said she was going to work, but I didn't know she was already gone because, like I said, it happened so soon after we got home. So I'm like yelling for my mom and I'm trying to get up out of bed, and I get up out of bed and all like, oh my God, it's just the water is dripping. It's all on my bed, all on the floor. I'm walking out into the hallway to go to my mom's room and it's just getting everywhere. So I go in my mom's room, open the door. The bed is empty. The bed is perfectly made. Mom, where are you? You know, I cannot find my mom. And I'm walking out into our little patio area because it shows like our cars or whatever. Walk out to the remember, all this water is getting all over the floor, understand? So I look out the window, my mom's car is gone. And I'm like, okay, she went to work. So let's thank God for my cousin. Let's just give God a moment of silence really quick. Because God is so good. Oh my gosh. So my cousins came into town. If you guys seen my previous vlogs, I was telling you guys how much they were making noise and chaos and, you know, this. And I was so glad they were here, because if they weren't here, I was gonna lose my damn mind. You understand? Anyways, so my cousin comes out the room. She's like, Jakira, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, no, my water is broke. My mom's out here. And I'm like, I'm trying to call her. She's not answering her phone. And I'm crying. She's just like, oh my, she's in shock too, but she has like 4 kids, so she knows how it goes. So I'm like crying and I'm like, my water is broken. She's like, call 911, call the ambulance. So I called the ambulance and was like, 911, what's the emergency? I'm like, my water is broke. I need to go to the hospital. Where do you live? They got all my information. Literally, I thought they were gonna take forever. I'm like, my water broke. I'm about to have this baby at the house. Like, no, please. Because how they put it was, once your water broke, the baby will come out. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, no. So I had to pee also. So I'm in the bathroom on the phone with the ambulance, and the guy, they gave me the paramedics, and the paramedic was like, do not, you know, sit on the toilet, all that other stuff. I'm like, well, I'm kind of on the toilet right now. He was like, no, like, and I was like, because I have to pee. And he's like, no, like, you need to get off the toilet. And I'm like, okay, because he was like, you know, you could have the baby in the toilet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, let me get my ass up, because I'm not trying to have this baby in the toilet, you understand? At least let me get to the hospital, you know? So finally, literally like 5 minutes later, the ambulance was here, because my cousin had calls again after I called. She's like, you guys need to hurry up, her water is broke. She's panicking herself, because she's just like, we need to get you to the hospital. So her kids and her husband was here, and she came to the hospital with me. And when we were in the ambulance, they did my IV, all that stuff. I still have like the little scar or whatever. I'm like, memorable scars, you know. Anyways, the baby. What? Are you pooping? You okay? Okay. Anyways, so when we got in the ambulance, like I said, they put the IV in me, and the guy was like, you know, getting all my information, and he asked me, he was like, let me know when you have contractions so we can time them. So we were timing my contractions, and they were actually about like 7 to 8 minutes apart, so they weren't bad, but again, they were still painful. I wasn't crying at this point, you know. I was in there like a G. I was in there like swimwear, okay? And so we got to the hospital. They want to take me back. Well, they took me back into the room I was in when I went in Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. And I'm like, look, you said when my water breaks, it's time. Why am I in this room? Like, I need to be in the labor and delivery room. Like, why am I in this small ass room? I could have this baby any second. So finally my cousin tried again to call my mom, and my mom answered. My cousin's like, she's at the hospital. Like, literally after you left is when her water broke, and my mom's like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm on my way. So my mom, she doesn't work too far from the hospital as it is, so that was a good thing too. And so she had got there maybe like in 10-15 minutes, which was perfect, because I was like, I need my mom, like I need her here. And so after she got there, she was like, how did your water break after I left? I'm like, Mom, I don't know. I just felt this pop. All this water started coming out. And so my original plan for labor was not to do epidural. It was, no, I don't want it. I wanted to try the IV because I heard so much about the epidural, and I heard so much bad things about it, and I was just like, no, I don't even want to do that. So I had told the midwife, you know, when I would go to my appointments, that I wanted to do the IV. I didn't want to do epidural. And so while they had the nurses, they put me back on the monitor, all this other stuff, and they asked me, they said, well, do you want to do the epidural or do you want to do an IV? And I was like, give me that damn epidural. Give that to me right now. Do you understand what I mean? Like that, like the contractions were just so painful. And again, because I was in labor, but it wasn't nothing they could do really. So, you know, they couldn't give me the epidural that Wednesday night. You know, they couldn't do that. So I had to wait. And so now that my water broke, yeah, you better pass that thing over here and stick it in my back. You understand me? And my mom was like, no, remember what you said? I said, Mom, skirt, I don't want to hear it. You understand? I don't want to hear what I said. I know what I said, and F what I said. You understand? Give that anesthesiologist the medicine. Tell him to come put it in my back. Okay, so I know I did not stick with what I was going to do originally. I was just, no, it was, I said that, no, that IV, F that IV, give me that epidural. I don't want to feel nothing. You understand? So finally, after maybe an hour or two, they had moved me to the delivery room, and it was really, really nice. I didn't get again to record because, like I said, my focus was not on recording. My focus was on getting this baby out and getting that epidural in me. And so finally, after they put me into the delivery room, the anesthesiologist had came in and came in and put the epidural in my bag. And again, like I said, they had gave me the sleeping medicine the night before, so I was still drugged up. Okay, I was drugged up. He would be talking to me like, you know, this is the procedure, this was gonna happen, this could happen afterwards, this, and I'm like literally like falling asleep, like, and he's like, Jakira, and I'm sorry. And every time he would talk, I'd just be falling right back to sleep. It was so funny because that medicine, it really kicked in at that time. Like, I was knocked out. Like, they had to keep waking me up. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna need you to sit up. The nurse, she had got in front of me and she was like, I need you to hold on to me. And they told my mom and my cousin they had to go like on the other side of the room, so I wouldn't really pay too much attention to them. And I wasn't paying attention to nobody. I was just trying to go back to sleep, honestly, because I was so tired. And that medicine had me, it was like, that stuff was strong. And I really wish I remember what it was called so I could let you guys know, but I do not remember. I just know I know it starts with a P. I just don't remember. But anyways, so he's like, okay, we're gonna do the epidural now, so don't move. And again, I'm not focused. So he puts the epidural in and I'm just sitting there like, can I lay back down now? Like, I'm tired. And the nurse is like, oh my gosh, like this is the easiest epidural we ever had. And you're just so calm. And it just went smoothly, you know, because like I said, I was so nervous if I did get the epidural that I would move and I would get paralyzed, because I don't do shots. I mean, I can do them, but I don't really care too much for them. And I was just like, they're putting this in my spine, like hot mess. So anyways, once they did that, I laid back down and they were like, you know, your contractions are going to get less painful, so you will feel them. So I had my first contraction after the epidural. It was still painful. Second contraction, it laid off, you know, a little bit. Third contraction, a little bit more. Fourth contraction, a little bit more. Fifth contraction, I could not feel nothing. I was numb, okay, and I was knocked out. So when I woke back up, when I tell you I couldn't even move my legs, I couldn't move my toes. I was trying to like lift my leg up and it would not come up. Oh my God, it was so crazy. When they tell you you can't feel nothing, you can't feel nothing. Waist down, understand? So the lady's like, all right, the nurse, she checked my cervix and she was like, oh, okay, you're like dilated at I think a 5 at the time. I was 5 centimeters dilated. She was like, I just checked your cervix. I was like, you just checked my cervix? Like, what? I didn't feel nothing. They need to give you that every time they check your cervix, because when they check your cervix, it's very uncomfortable. Okay, that's the most uncomfortable feeling you will ever feel. You'll be like, no, get out of me right now. And it will just make you regret having sex. I'm just playing. But anyways, so again, she checked my cervix and I tell you, I could not feel nothing. I was like, oh my gosh, you just checked my cervix and I didn't feel nothing? Like, this is God. Woo! So anyways, so they would check me. They checked me every, I think, hour to 2 hours, and I was doing really good. I was dilating. I was at a 5, then I would get at a 7. And that night that I was there, my doctor, primary doctor, because I only had seen him in the beginning of my pregnancy, and he revealed, did the gender and all that stuff for me. But after that, I didn't see him anymore. And I was just seeing the midwives and, you know, different medical doctors. And, you know, he was in Anchorage, and I don't live in Anchorage. I live in Eagle River. So it was more complicated to get him and to get a doctor's appointment with him, because he would always be in Anchorage. And like I said, I live a good maybe 20 minutes away from Anchorage. So I wasn't trying to drive 20 minutes to go to a doctor's appointment. So I was like, no, like, so he was there that night, and I was so excited. I'm like, yay, he can deliver my baby and all this stuff. And that's the first question I asked the nurse. I was like, is Dr. Wang here? And they were like, well, let's go check. We'll go check who's the on-call doctor tonight. And it was him, and I was so excited. So, because like I said, I hadn't seen him. I seen him like when I was 15 and 16 weeks pregnant. After my 5 months of being pregnant, I did not see him for the rest of my pregnancy. Like, I didn't see that doctor for like 4 months. And after, you know, seeing, after they told me he was there, he had came in a few hours later. And again, I was knocked out because of that medicine. And he was like, Jakira, and I seen him. He had his little mohawk and his little doctor outfit and stuff. I was like, Dr. Wang, what's good? I hadn't seen him in so long. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so glad you're here, you know, because I really wanted him to deliver her. I didn't want any other doctor because I'm like, I liked him. You know, he was so awesome and so cool. And so finally, he was like, well, I think you might have this, because it was around like 5-6 p.m. No, it was not. Let me restate that. It was like 3-4, and at that point, like I said, I was 7 centimeters dilated, and I was like, I'm gonna have this baby around like 7 p.m. And he's like, well, he did his estimate. He was like, I think you'll have this baby like 9 o'clock. And I'm like, no, like, it's not gonna be that late, because I was thinking maybe like 6 or 7 p.m. And he was like, no, it's gonna be 8 or 9. And he's a doctor, he knows exactly what he's talking about. But I was like, no. So it came time to start pushing. They had checked me for the last time, and I was a good 9.5 centimeters dilated, and they were just like, all right, well, we're gonna start pushing in about like 30 minutes, so, you know, get ready. In my head, I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm about to push a baby out of me, and I'm going to meet my child that's been in my stomach for 9 months. I couldn't believe it. I really could not believe it. And it really just took me for a shock, you know, because I was like, it's really time. Like, this is really happening, and I'm gonna be having my little baby. And I just couldn't believe it. You see how much I'm smiling? Because it's like I said, it was such an experience. You know, it's something that you just can't believe that's happening. 30 minutes passed. He was like, all right, we're gonna, you know, they got suited up, got dressed, him and the nurse. They came back, and they, you know, was like, all right, we're gonna start pushing. So when the next contraction comes, we're gonna start pushing. So my contraction came, and they're like, all right, push. And I'm like, ah! I'm just kidding. I didn't make any noise. I was just like, and I was pushing with all my might. And he was like, push like you're, you know, pushing your bottom down, like, if you kind of understand where I'm going with that. So an hour and 10 minutes later is when she came out. I was pushing for an hour and 10 minutes, and finally she came out. And when the feeling, I tell you, like I said, I still couldn't feel anything down there, but when I felt her come out, I felt that. I felt like a relief, like, oh my gosh. And the first thing I hear, because this is one thing I forgot to say too. When my water broke, usually it's supposed to be clear, but my water was green, and it was because she had pooped inside of me. This little girl decided she was going to use it inside of me. So when they had finally got her out, they didn't want her to breathe, because then she would inhale that stuff in, and they didn't want her to do that. So once they got her out of me, they rushed her to like the side, that little bed they have ready for her, and the other nurses had sucked out the liquid, and my I forget what this stuff is called, but they sucked it out of her, and I just hear it. And I just start crying because I'm just so filled with joy and excitement and everything. And I just couldn't believe it. She was finally here. And so my mom got to cut the umbilical cord. And from there on, it was just amazing. And I did tear a little bit. So they had to, Dr. Wang had to do like 2 stitches. And that was it. And he was like, you didn't tear as bad as other people. Like, you did really good. And so it was just, like I said, the experience is something you can't describe, but it's something you will definitely remember. And you will always remember that contraction, that first contraction that really hits your ass, and you're just kind of like, what just happened? You know, you will know when it's time. And that's what the midwife was telling me. She was like, you know, I heard you and saw, and she was like, you will know, you will not be able to move, you won't be able to talk, you won't be able to, you'll know. Oh, I figured that out real quick. I was like, oh yeah, I know what you was talking about. So one of the midwives, she, after I had her, came to visit me, and she was like, finally, huh? And I'm like, yes, finally. Because every time I would go to my weekly appointments, because I was starting to go every week at that point, I was just getting so miserable. I was like, get this girl out of me. Like, I was even talking about getting induced. I was like, I need an induction. But like I said, she was on it. She came out on the 14th, and I was supposed to have her the 15th. And so I stayed at the hospital for 2 days, and they let me go home that Friday. And no, Saturday, because I had her Wednesday. Saturday, sorry. Had her Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I went home Saturday. And so I was like, I wish I could take them with me, take them home with me, because they helped me so much. But even when they asked to take her to the nursery, she was like, the nurse was like, do you want to get some sleep? Nope, leave her right here. I want her right next to me. You're not taking my baby. Like, nope, sorry. I want her right here. I pushed her out. I want her right here next to me. And so, like I said, that was just something you will remember. And I'm so happy she's here. She is the most amazing baby. She will cry and she will whine every, 2 to 3 hours, but it's because she's hungry or she needs to be changed. And after I do that, she'll go right back to sleep. And so I love her. I love her so much. This is my little baby. So I will show you guys her now. She is sleeping. Oh, mama. She's just like, leave me alone. All right, so this is Zane Alicia Garrett. I don't know if you guys can really see her face too much. Oh, she's not having it. Look, she's moving. She's like, no way. But this is my baby, and she was born 6 pounds and 14 ounces, and she was 19 inches long. And yeah, that's my little baby. I love her. Finally, she's here. Being a mom is amazing. I love just waking up to her every morning. Every night we wake up, even though I get a little frustrated because I'm so tired. When I get up and I feed her, and she has my eyes. Like, she has these big eyes. She doesn't have really too much of her dad. I mean, you see him in her, but she looks like me. But when she opens her big eyes and look at me, I just fall in love. Never been in love like this before. No, but it's an amazing feeling. It's definitely an experience, but she's 2 weeks now. So this is my little baby. So So I plan on doing a postpartum update. I'm just going to wait until I do my 6-week checkup. But you know, girl got her body back and stuff, but I just feel like I'm gonna wait a little bit. And then I'll do it. But like I said, I'll wait till 6 weeks and then I'll do it. So, but thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, I will be posting the labor and delivery vlog for you guys to check that out as well. But this will definitely be going up first. And that will probably be in the next few days when I post that vlog, just so I can finish editing it and getting it correct and, you know, all that good stuff. I'm editing it and kind of happy with it now, but I need to do some more just so I can be satisfied. But yeah, so again, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that you guys enjoyed this labor and delivery story. And if you have not subscribed, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I will definitely start posting a little bit more, but now that I have this busybody, it's probably not going to be as much as I was doing, but it will definitely be, you know, I'm going to try for sure to do a lot of vlogging now. And like I said, definitely like the video, okay, and comment as well, okay, and tell me, you know, if you guys are out there that is actually going through you know, your pregnancy and you're almost there. And, you know, also, even if you've had your baby, I just want to, you know, share. Because, like I said, this experience is something that's remarkable. And a lot of people don't, you know, get to really go through being a mother. You know, some people don't get to actually, you know, get to carry their own child. Or some people are not able to have children. And I'm really blessed, and I'm, you know, thankful for God blessing me with her. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoy. Definitely subscribe, like, and comment, and I will see you guys in the next vlog. Peace.